Congratulations are in order to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm not sure if they punched a police horse this year like they did a couple years ago in celebration.
Or slicked down lamp poles.
Well, they did do that.
They greased the poles.
They greased them?
They did that at actually noontime yesterday.
They greased them. Greased them poles.
Yeah. Well, they must have
make sure they're nice and greased.
Must have seen into the future and realized that the 49ers were going to run out of quarterbacks. That must have been the situation. That was disappointing. Felt bad for Brock Purdy.
I don't care if you have an invested interest in the game, whatever. Obviously, for gamblers, it's tough, depending on which side you are. But you just want to see like the best take on the best. You know, like you want to see both teams at full strength in a good game, like we saw last night, and we didn't get to see that. So that was what was so disappointing because as talented as both these rosters were or are. And I think we counted, 30 players who are either Pro Bowl starters or Pro Bowl alternates between the two teams?
Yeah, close to that.
That's ridiculous. Like, absolutely. You could literally have a team between both those rosters in the Pro Bowl.
Two best rosters in the league, right? Two best, yeah, easily.
Like, at least by Pro Bowl numbers and all that this year. But then to have the linchpin essentially being like, hey, if you don't have a quarterback, like it doesn't matter. Like, and San Francisco with Purdy going out and then eventually coming back, but – obviously couldn't throw the football. I think he threw, one pass. He threw a screen. It would have been nice to see them at least try. I mean, we're in the NFC Championship game. I mean, I don't care if it looks awful. It's going to look better than whatever the hell you're trying to do with McCaffrey back there throwing passes. But it was disappointing. I mean, credit the Eagles. They were going to win that game probably regardless. Their offensive line, with the way they can run the football and control the game, is rare. I think Kansas City's going to be up against it because they've got a huge challenge. But they've been the best team in the NFC all year, and they've got a ton of talent. I mean, Howie Roseman, the way he's built this roster, Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff, the way they put those guys in positions to succeed, they are a tough out. So it should be a lot of fun, but we should acknowledge it's not just the Andy Reid Bowl; it's the Kelsey family bowl.
Yeah,
think about that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Two guys who are future Hall of Famers
Very
get to square off for the first time. That's pretty neat.
Pretty cool. Hey, can I throw this one out at you guys and ask this question?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm all for it. I'm not gonna be like Jonas.
All right, I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, I know you don't have to answer.
Jonas didn't want us to play the clip in the first place, so he might be leaning towards Tony Romo.
Well, I mean.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Them
That's
Nichols,
a great point.
Them Nichols was playing some football. That's it is what it is.
It's my favorite coin.
I just call everybody
not
Nichols.
To go back to that, can I ask that he's going to have to acknowledge that and make a statement? I think.
You think so? I mean, it's probably gaining traction. I'll tell you that. I mean,
hell yeah! At one point, I looked, and there was probably, I forget how many views or whatever it had, but it was in the heavy thousands. And I'm going, this is going to be enough where he might have to make a statement about this.
When I heard it, I was like, man, I've been needing to wean myself off of saying the word so much that I was like, man, Tony Romo gave me like a way of altering it. Like, I'm just saying Nichols from here on out. Like, what up, my nickel?
Oh, no.
And I'm going to be all right with that.
No.
I'll be good with that. I'll be all right with that because it's not the word. It's not the word. So I'm thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony Romo, for giving me that opportunity to wean
Tony?
Yeah, I need
Tony.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah.
God, how many times? I mean, even the fourth down, the 4th and 1, they threw it deep to Jamar Chase in double coverage. Makes a great catch. That whole play. They're not going to go for this. Oh, they are. Oh my gosh. It's like, come on, dude.
They're going to motion them, and here we are. Spags.
They're not going to snap it. They're not gonna, they are. Oh.
Jim,
they haven't run cover 2.
I don't know, Jim. What do you think?
They haven't run cover 2 all game. Now he just throws that cover 2 in there, and it made a difference. They was running cover 2 the entire time. Right. they were running 2 the entire time.
What's funny too? I noticed is anytime they pop up a stat on the screen, it's like it's the first time he's seen it, or the first time he's like, "Oh yeah, they're really good." Chris Jones, this is the first time he's ever gotten a playoff sack. Wow, did you know that? I was like, "Yeah, dude, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's got 15 and a half sacks, and somehow, for as many times they've been in the playoffs, he didn't have a postseason sack until last night. He had 2. Like, that's something that you should have talked about before the sack took place, the first one and the second one. But it literally, like Jim Nantz had to acknowledge it. And Tony's like, wow, oh my gosh, can't believe that. It's like, yeah, Tony.
These guys, hey, if there was a picture next to give 0 Fs, Tony Romo's face would be one of the pictures as one of the examples. One thing I'll say, he gives 0, he could care less. Like, he just having a good time. I'm here. I'm going to be entertaining.
They paid him. It's guaranteed now, man. Yeah, like, they paid him.
He's got to get, his golf swings in during the week. He can't be bothered to look at these games.
You guys got to see that commercial. All right, so listen, here's my question for you guys, all right? My question is, with Brock Purdy, if there's another quarterback, say Jimmy Garoppolo is in the game, does the pressure get to Garoppolo the same way it got to Purdy, or is Garoppolo aware of where the blitz is coming from?
He gets the ball.
Okay, is that what?
That's what I believe.
In my mind, I was like, okay, you got to know that they're going to pressure Purdy. Yeah. You got to know that's, and we said it. Obviously, this is the way that you're going to have an opportunity to win. Is you got to pressure them. And listen, I thought they did. I mean, I'm not going to say outstanding against Dallas, because I think Dallas had success, but they definitely got more results. Like, they landed home a little bit more, but it was nonetheless, there was still pressure the week before. What makes the difference? What do you guys feel made the difference? I mean, because
it was twofold. I mean, obviously the quarterback position. I mean, when Josh Johnson got in there, you could tell they were very limited in what they could do, and that's what happens when you have a backup go in who hasn't even been there the whole year. And then, obviously, when Purdy came back in, you're like, okay, they can't even throw. I mean, I would have rather seen them go wildcat with McCaffrey, but what slipped under the radar is he was dealing with a calf injury.
Yeah.
So it's not like you could really exhaust him out there, and you can't throw or do much anyway, even with him. So they were just so limited at that point offensively once the injuries took place. I mean, look, if Garoppolo's there, he diagnoses quicker. He's got a quicker release, so he's getting the ball out quicker anyway. But if their defense – speaking of the 49ers, if they can't create more negative plays, which they couldn't. By the way, they didn't versus Dallas. They had 1 sack versus Dallas, and Philly's got a better O-line. They only had 1 sack last night. Eric Armstead had it.
Yep.
I mean, they limited Bosa. He got leg whipped on the sidelines. He wasn't even in the game, and he's getting almost taken out. It was just not the 49ers' day.
And
that's when you see a player, arguably your best player, gets leg whipped on the sideline, and he also is out for the game. You're going, this is just not your day. Just pack it up, get back to San Francisco.
Yeah, bad spot. Hey. Also, there was a stretch there where they seemed like they were getting a defensive penalty every play.
Every play.
And they were already up against it with the injuries. It just it was
and even
what
though
it was,
a roughing the punter, like there was just so many calls that they needed at that point. Once your starting quarterback goes out, they needed a lot to go their way, and it really never did. And we could talk about this more at length earlier, but the NFLPA and the NFL, more the NFLPA, did this to themselves. Like the whole third quarterback designation that they got rid of, which allowed you, so just so people at home understand, you used to be able to dress 45. Now you can dress 46. But what that rule allowed you to do, doesn't matter if it's 45, 46, you got to dress a guy who was inactive. So if you got 46 who are dressed now, he's 47th player dressed. And he'd be a quarterback. And what happened would be if you got a player knocked out of the game, like Josh Johnson was, right, with a concussion, you could then basically make Josh Johnson inactive and substitute in that inactive player to make him active. There's a form in all this. I literally was activated one time, I think my rookie year, where this happened. And I saw the whole process. They got rid of that. And it's one of the reasons why now teams keep less than 3 active quarterbacks on their active roster. So it's usually 2 and a guy on the practice squad. But if you're in that, like you used to never have that issue. You at least had a quarterback who could go in there and throw and go try to make some plays. But because of that singular change, it's really impacted teams, especially this season with all the injuries that we've had to quarterbacks this season. So I hope they look at bringing that rule back.